Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of Deca Debrief. I am Sam, formerly known as CW Girl.
I'm Erica, known in-game as Erica, with an A. On the Discord, I believe it's Erica Star. I'm always on the Discord of Deca Debrief, and your co-host.
I am ATrapper, the guy responsible for the Nidarian Reef, and that's me.
I am Mr. Mrunibro.
So we have a Patreon at patreon.com/decadebrief. Special thanks to everyone who's donated on our Patreon so far for helping to keep our show alive. We have our sponsors. We have Lost Boys, Realm Slayers, ATrapper's Ideas Discord, Lost Halls Hideout, and LHC. LHC is a Halls Discord for average players who don't meet the recs of other endgame Discords, but don't want to deal with the hassle of other lower-end Discords. LHC already has 12k plus members with many leaders and a support team. They just need more active members. If you join 10 plus runs, you can enter a giveaway with 25 Decas that can potentially double to 50, and a potion of minor healing, which is worth 8 plus Decas itself. The Ideas Discord is currently hosting a competition to redesign any existing realm enemy and or item sprite. The contest ends October 10th. More information can be found in the hashtag announcement section of their Discord, so check it out. All these Discord links will be found in the description, so be sure to check them out. Special thanks to SLVR for shouting out our episodes. We're going to be expanding our team between now and next season. We'll be looking to bring on a few more co-hosts, some editors, and more people to work behind the scenes on the show. If you're interested, stay till the end to hear more about that. Now that our plugs are out of the way, let's dive into our episode.
If you guys caught the episode from last week, we talked a lot about the the producer's letter that came out. It covered pretty much everything from Month of the Mad God and a few other things regarding Unity and their servers. It was really just an episode for our staff of the Deca Debrief show and our Discord to kind of discuss what we thought about it all. It was also our big goodbye episode for Misty Raven and an announcement for our auditions for up-and-coming staff for Season 2. So this week we would like to sit down with ATrapper and Mr. Mrunibro, a couple guests to get some insight on what people that have a larger role in the community, on everything that happened in the producer's letter.
So, Mr. Mrunibro,
Hi.
we actually have a question for you. Where did you come up with your name? Because we were having a whole discussion earlier about how to pronounce your name, and obviously ATrapper knew, but I thought that it was pronounced Mrunibro or Mrunibro, and Erica thought that it was Mr. Unibrow, as in, unibrow, but just the W was cut off.
My friend that showed me the game when I was 14, we kind of picked on him for having one eyebrow. So I think you know where this is going. So I named my character after that because I'm a terrible person. But that account, I lost that account because I typed out the email and like half a year later forgot the password. So I was lazy, made a new account, and just the same name without a W. That's what happened. So definitely Mr. Unibrow. Yeah.
So I was pretty much 100% correct.
Yes.
Awesome. At Rapper, same question.
ATrapper. Okay, so the name basically came from when I was a little kid and had no... This is gonna sound horrible. No, not in a bad way, just like incredibly cringy. Basically, my brother and I were at my aunt's house, and we had to figure out what we were going to call the Miis we made on her Nintendo Wii. And he went with something, and I went with something similar to that, which ended up being ATrapper. And since then, I just haven't thought of a better name to use. So now I have this.
5 a.m., same question.
Yes. Okay, so originally my name was CW Girl, short for Sea Wolf Girl, because my parents actually met at a college where the mascot was a sea wolf. And, hence Sea Wolf Girl. But I recently had a name change. It is now Citrus, except the I in Citrus is a lowercase l, and it's kind of to deter a lot of inappropriate PMs you sometimes get as being a girl in this sort of community. It was just a cute name that I wanted, but the original one was taken, so I just slapped an L in there.
that's a much darker story than I thought it was going to be. I'm sorry I asked.
So I guess the logical next step is to ask you where your name comes from, Erica.
Well, I'm actually really lazy with mine. It's just my birth given name with an A at the end of the first name.
Oh, that's not that lazy.
No,
I mean, actually, yeah, it is pretty lazy.
Yep, it is spelled the way it's spelled.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes, this is my real name.
That's actually an interesting thing. Like, with the name Eric, I usually just know it as ERIC. So that I think that's pretty interesting.
And if it's pronounced Akira, I will find you in real life and cut you. Have you both had a chance to read over the producer's letter?
I have, yes.
More or
for
less.
the most part.
Okay, is there anything that stands out to you that you guys... We'll start with ATrapper. What called out to you the most about this letter?
I would say the thing that I found the most interesting was the whole chest events and drop rates section, mainly because of the Ogmer controversy. That was under that section. I think that was the most interesting part, just because I wanted to see how Deca would respond to this. Like I said, specifically with the Ogmer situation. Now, the one thing I'll say is I find it just an interesting thing because I didn't expect Deca to do something like the Ogmer thing a second time after the Ice Tomb controversy. The rest of it, like the Unity part, that's all very interesting. I just think that that's the thing that stands out to me, personally.
What exactly is your place like in the ladder of testers? Are you a tester?
Yeah, I am a closed tester, yes, and I'm answering for Mr. Unibro as well because both of us are. He's like a slight step higher than I am, but when I say that, I mean he has more experience than I do. But basically, we're both the UGC developers, both UGC developers. So that just means we get to work on content for the game, like dungeons and stuff like that. And that's basically our main role in the testing hierarchy, to make content and have the testers help us out with testing it.
And I know around episode 6 you came onto the show and you explained with one of our questions that part of the reason why UGC content isn't just being implemented into the game left and right is because they're putting so much time and effort towards getting their Unity on track.
Well, that's specifically just like Deca content. The UGC still is working on stuff. We've sort of slowed down after the major releases from last year, and I know a couple of us were just sort of taking breaks and getting situated, myself included, after Reef, which was this year. But for the most part, we're just sort of sure things like Secluded Thicket, that's being worked on. There's some other things that I believe are in the works, but nothing even close to release yet, other than maybe Thicket.
Well, one of my follow-up questions was going to be that you mentioned Unity as being another thing that interests you in the letter. I was wondering if, for either of you, if the Deca team has come together with their UGC developers at all and sort of discussed the state of Unity, or if there's anything that you'd be able to reveal without breaking a sort of like NDC or non-disclosure agreement.
We know very little about this. Recently, they finally made a channel in the testing Discord about their Unity project. For the most part, we were specifically asked not to share anything because they want full control over the distribution of the progress to make sure people don't go too crazy. But no, currently we have no involvement in the project. I'm not sure who will.
All we know is that Unity isn't something that's going to come out tomorrow. It's still probably going to be a little while before we see Unity, but Deca is definitely working on it incredibly hard. Like, almost all of their resources are going towards the Unity project.
And the few things that we saw, I think they're pretty much going the extra mile to make sure the core of the game doesn't get ruined with the new client.
Right, right. That's the main idea behind the project, I believe, is and this is just from what I've been able to take from it. I think the core idea is just to optimize the game's performance. That's the main point of doing the Unity thing. Give it a more stable engine. Hopefully everything goes well with it within the next couple months.
If it ever gets to the point where I can run a Lost Halls from start to finish and not drop in frames at all, that'd be a pretty eerie experience.
Is it even Realm anymore if that happens?
No,
That brings up a good question. Like, if you take away a piece of a boat and replace it with a new piece, at what point does that become a new boat? The same question could be applied to Realm of the Mad God, and I feel like they could get away with naming it Realm of the Mad God too.
No, they could, but no, I doubt Deca would do that. I think that they would just, not fix what wasn't broken. They are fixing much of what's broken in the game's optimization, but I don't think they would do something like bring out ROTMG 2.
no, that would something like that would be a different project. Unity is really just take the game, put it in Unity.
Well, Mr. Unibrow, what were your favorite parts or most interesting parts about this producer letter?
I'm gonna be boring. It was basically the same. It's also about the Ogmer and thing and how they handled it.
So, how did you guys feel about the lag during Mad God? Because sometimes I would try to run in a various Discord server, but it just wouldn't work. Or sometimes another Discord server would try to run on the same server, and the entire thing would just for a couple seconds. Did you have any experiences with, those kinds of lag spikes or anything like that?
Well, honestly, yes. The servers definitely were much more packed than usual during MOTMG. Now, I don't think they maybe it's just my experience or my luck rather, but for the most part, I haven't had that much of an issue with it. Now, I will say this: I think it was during the Lost Halls event. There was a point when I was trying to. I believe it was an SBC run actually. I tried to do an SBC run, and one of the other servers, actually, Misty Raven was in the run with me. One of the other Discord servers came on and found us in the same bazaar. Now, there were probably around, I want to say, over 100, 130, 130 people in this bazaar. So, needless to say, the lag was pretty intense. But other than that, I haven't seen that much lag.
I might have been a bit lucky with the lag. I've not had it as bad as you described. Still definitely very bad on the border of there's just so little you can do with the thing. It's like an issue of resources allocated to like how much server power have you got. And I'm not sure if they have the money to both make a Unity client and like triple server power to make you not freak out. Maybe, hopefully, the Unity client will be less troublesome with handling lag. There's been a few optimizations with the most recent update where invisible objects and other objects like that get handled in a way such that they don't tax the server as much. So hopefully it'll be a little less bad. Probably still going to be bad.
Do you think with the transition to Unity, there's the hope that it might, lessen that or even possibly completely prevent it?
Well, let's get.
I definitely. Well, it depends on what sort of. If we're talking server lag,
Yes,
I don't
specifically
think that
server lag.
Oh, probably not, because the Unity is just going to be for the client. The servers, and I could be wrong. I am
No, it's
not
just the client.
the end all be all. Yeah, it's just the client. Yeah, the Unity portion is just for the client, so the servers are going to be untouched. This will, however, help a lot with client lag. So, if you, for instance, load into an instance with a lot of projectiles or with a lot of players, you'll experience much less lag. Or just in playing in general, you'll experience much, much less lag than you currently will with the Flash client.
Um, well, it's like still guesswork what the client will and will not do, but perhaps the way how the client communicates with the server will be improved with the new client. I can't tell for sure. I'm not making it, and perhaps that will lessen the impact of lag. I don't know.
One question I see come up a lot in our general Discord. Since you guys are both in closed testing, has there been any hint of the possibility of Deca, since they often remove, like HP bars, projectiles, XP, fame? They're toggleable. There's ways you can remove those and help prevent lag for your own client. Have they hinted at the possibility of removing player sprites and pet sprites to help reduce lag?
Disclaimer, I haven't been as active in the testing Discord or anything like that recently,
Same.
but I've heard nothing about that, and I'm sure that even if I had, I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to talk about it until it were like 100% public knowledge.
Yeah, shortly after monthly Mad God, they, as far as we know, I think R4 mentioned it once at an internal meeting discussing like the roadmap going forward with the game. Maybe it's been discussed by then, and that would mean that we would hear about it in like the coming months. For now, we know nothing. It might also depend on how much lag Unity will reduce.
So, this is an interesting question given that both of you are active closed testers. What would you like to see added to Realm that is in their plans? They brought out the improved friends list and the guild list, the new pets UI and wardrobe, the new class and the events. What are your opinions on the fame rework and dungeon rushes, and is there anything else that you would like implemented into the game?
The one thing I do want to say to begin is if something is on Deca's radar and they have not mentioned it publicly, we really can't say anything about that. Now, the Fame rework, I know a little more about that one. Still not that much because it's still. I don't think there's anything 100% done with that yet. With the whole dungeon rush concept of just boss fight after a boss fight, basically Lair of Draconis, but not boring. I love it. I love it. I just love the idea of constant boss fights because I think that's where Realm really shines. Its boss fights are fantastic. Like, just because you're here, Uni, the Killer Queen Bee is probably one of my favorite bosses in the game. Like, all of the Lost Halls bosses are incredibly challenging and just overall fun bosses to fight. Oryx 1, probably one of my favorite bosses. You know? There's just, there's a lot to like. Now, with the Fame rework, see, I'm very excited for Fame to be reworked. Only because I personally feel like the Fame system is really, really just not good right now. It definitely needs a lot of work. So, a rework would be fantastic. For things that I would like to see, really, I would just like to see a lot of the core game to be fit. And I want to also say that this isn't something that Deca is going to work on, probably. But I would love to see a lot of the core game be changed, like the early game specifically. I would love to see that.
For me, the Fame rework is definitely interesting. As far as I'm aware, dates back, the ideas of it at least, date back all the way to February, March. But with an increasing workload for all kinds of things they had to do, it just got pushed on the back burner up until recently, where they finally have time to continue with it again. And I'm definitely excited for it because the current Fame system is, I think, untouched since like 2011 maybe, despite for better Fame in halls and parasites. But the rest of the game definitely changed a lot, and the older bonuses kind of appear to encourage doing the opposite of what the rest of the game wants you to do. So with that system better aligned to the game, I'm very excited to see what it will be like.
So, with the end of Month of the Mad God, with the end of summer, And with the end of what the producer claimed as Month of the Mad God season, I love the idea that they're doing seasons, by the way, for their updates. And they mentioned that in the producer letter that every season end, they're going to be doing a letter like this. So we're probably going to expect one of these in winter, one in spring, and that's just such a beautiful idea. Something so easy to thrive off of for this show, and I love it. But with the end of this season, they decided to have a summer sale blowout that is arguably one of the best sales that this game has ever seen. The only catch was the limited quantities, and they were strict. I think in total, if I added them all up from all of like the mirrors, just all the different packages that they kind of like copied and renamed over and over, it was probably like 1,000, just to give like a rough guess. And for a player base of 10,000, if not more, that's still, really strict to say that only 10% of the population has an opportunity at this, what is their greatest deal. So hopefully you two had a chance to look at it, possibly even purchase it. I'm not sure if either of you dipped into that. But what did you guys think about it?
Personally, I really did. Here, hold on. I'm actually going to pull up the specific packs. I believe it's in, because I know it's in the. Let me see. Give me 1 second, and I'll pull this up just so I have a good idea of what we're. Okay, so.
Yeah, just as a reminder for both of you, I believe the 3 packages. The first one was every ST weapon that had ever been released in one package, every ST mini skin, and the third package was 10 ambrosia and 10 vault chests.
There were only 65 of each package available total. 65 total. Now, the deals were very good, and I would love to see more deals like this. But I feel like there were too few packs available. Like the vault chest one, easily the best vault chest deal ever released. Like, it's not even a question. Now, the other ones, still good deals, but I wouldn't buy them. I didn't end up buying the vault one, but still. These deals were really good deals, but like I said, there were just too few of them. You could only get 65 of them sold total. And granted, I understand why, because if you made the packs, like, maybe 10 times the current amounts, that's way too many, in my opinion. 650, I don't know. But, still. I just don't like how low the number of packs that could be purchased was, personally. I like the idea of the deals, though.
Yes, the concept was definitely interesting. It's a bit of a double-sided coin, I suppose. As a player, you would want those deals for Deca money. But the way they were given out, I feel as though for most players, before they knew the sale was started, it was already over because there's like 100,000 people, quadrillion, on top of the mystery box shop, and then 65 get it, and they all clicked at the same time, and yeah, there goes your money. So I wouldn't mind seeing more of these deals, considering that with the precondition that they could be handled better.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that clothing brand Supreme.
Oh god, the Supreme Crowbar.
This is basically the realm of the Mad God. The Supreme Brick. No, yeah, this is the equivalent of when Supreme releases new clothing, but in realm of the Mad God. Just a bunch of people waiting around, so as soon as the sale goes live, they can purchase these packs.
One way I feel like they could have probably addressed it a little bit better. I didn't get a chance to mention this on last week's episode, but there's another game, League of Legends. Maybe you've heard of it.
Never, no.
I know it's not a very popular game. I mean, how many podcasts about that are there? So, League of Legends recently released a special game mode, and with that game mode, they have their own events. And one of the rewards for one of the events is the right to buy a T-shirt. And for a game like League of Legends, they can just hand out, gifts left and right. That caused a little bit of controversy on their end, just because like the right to buy a T-shirt isn't something that should be won in a game like that, especially whenever they're taking a single-player route versus a multiplayer. But I feel like in a game like Realm of the Mad God, that would have been a really interesting way they could have turned an event to sort of like introduce it into the quest giver and have it be like maybe a scavenger hunt, like a series of things that you have to turn in. Maybe even the tarot cards, for example, something that never gets used, or the treasures that never get used. Turn in those things that are tradable as well, so they can actively participate in the realm's economy. And then the people that are able to complete this quest are then able to buy one of these packages, and it makes it like very interactive. There could still be the limited quantity, like the first people to complete those quests are the ones that get to do it, and it would have been an interesting event to see. That's just my take on a different way they could have addressed it.
Right, like the game Destiny, the first person shooter by Bungie. They
Who?
did the exact what?
I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, they did the same sort of concept. For the past 3 years, if you completed a certain amount of tasks in game, you were able to purchase a T-shirt. And from what I know, a lot of people really like this idea. Now, it's only like you don't have to do too much in the game to achieve it. You have to do certain endgame activities, certain difficult things, but for the most part, it's not that difficult to achieve it, and people love it. It's not at all constrained to a certain number of people. Like, there's no limited amount, and from what I've seen in the community, people love that system. If Realm did something like that, that would have been just really, really interesting just to see how it goes,
Yeah, Mr. Unibrow, I was ATrapper didn't tell me too much about you. He kept it very brief. He told me that you were working on the rework. Did you work on the original Nest as well?
Anything besides the art, my bad.
What about Killer King B? The absolute best sprite ever. No, second. The mango
yes.
is the best.
That's mine, the mango.
Let's not. The mango. I've got to find the mango.
I
Hold
tried to
on.
do a sprite once and it went terrible. You make one sprite.
I'm sure I'll find it. I'll find it. You
Well,
know I will.
while he finds that, just to go give another quick poll around the room, and if it's too many to count, just guess. How many times have you completed the Nest, Sam?
Once.
Oh, by the way, in production, how many times have you completed it in production? Not testing.
Oh. Let's just ask Muledum. Have I not completed any nests on this character?
Oh, you're banned.
Huh.
I'm telling Deca.
I'm sorry, I failed you, Uni. On my characters that are currently alive, I have completed a total of 10 nests.
Wow.
I could have sworn it was more. Maybe some on my dead characters, I'm not sure.
Unibrow?
I'm currently counting, but on dead characters it says. Where is it? On dead characters it says currently 79, and I lost count on my
Jesus
deck.
Christ.
On my life ones. Shit. Let's see. 54, 6, 7. The others all. This one is some. 70. Jeez. More than I thought, really. I think it's about 70 on the living ones, yes. A total of 149.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the same boat as Sam. I've only completed one, and I was so proud that day, just because. And Unibrow, I guess I have to thank you for this. In order to complete the nest, I had to upgrade my internet. That is how hard it was for me. That's how much there's going on in that dungeon.
That's why it's getting reworked, I guess.
With the lag that I was experiencing, I was not able to complete. Every character I would take in there would die.
Yeah, there was only one time where I ever completed a nest, and it was amazing. My Wi-Fi wasn't cutting out. The weather was nice. The weather always affects my Wi-Fi, and
The stars were aligned just right.
and then right after I did another nest because I was like, oh wow, look, I'm surviving and everything, and I ended up dying right after.
Ooh. Still a great dungeon.
Yeah,
The only comment I have for it, in all honesty, is just paralyze. What was it? Paralyze, confused. Paralyze, confused. Paralyze, confused. Really?
yeah. This might just be one of the
That
big
hurts.
reasons this game reworked. Most people do not want to complete it. So why does it exist?
Well, yeah. Feel free to rant. Tell us everything. Like, what was the process on creating the nest? What was it like?
How did it start? Just the start in itself was kind of ridiculous. It was just I was like a tester for 2 months, and then there's like a post on the testing subreddit. Silex asks, "We have had a lot of demand for Epic Nest, Epic Hive, and we never heard anyone ask for that, but sure." And they request if anyone was interested to make a dungeon between Sprite World and Shatter's difficulty, which is a reasonably big range. I was like, "Hey, can I do that?" And they were like, "Yes." Which is interesting because it's not like I would have been the most trusted person by then. I'd been there for 2 months, but I was lucky enough to have them accept. Initially, I would have both Kid Force and Suis2 working with me on it, but either of them dropped out. Kid Force because he had halls, Suis because he had real life. When I was first asked how long it would take, I was like, 2 weeks, easy. That was very wrong.
2 weeks, more like 2 years.
I just after 2 weeks, I think I got the dungeon to generate more than a hallway because it just kept on putting walls in front of every room so you couldn't get out of like the hallway that you spawned in. It was awful. And then the ground was green, so I can't do art. Then I wanted to make something like representing some crazy hierarchy in a real hive where all the insects just seem to know what they want to do with each other, how they want to communicate. That they all react to each other because I hadn't seen such a thing in the game. Really. But the reason I haven't seen such a thing in the game is because it's really difficult and it doesn't work all the time. So then I made it work. More or less, you don't want to see that code. It is spaghetti. It's like a billion trillion invisible things that all do different things in different orders. It's such a mess. If I read it back now, I get confused a lot of times. But then over the course of 6 months, it just eventually became that thing, which is if I knew at the start, it would have taken me half a year. I'm not sure if I would have had like the courage to try that because that's a long time. That's just way too much time for something like that for no money. But and then in the end, no one wants to run it.
In other words, it took about as long as Nidarian Reef. Which, yeah, we all know Nidarian Reef, absolutely the most difficult thing to make.
The most purchased key.
Yeah.
The most sought after whites.
The most amazing creator.
No, that's Toast. He nerfed Fulmy. You know?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Toaster's nerfed Fulmy, so he is a much better creator than I am. He also made the...
Yes.
He nerfed Fulmy so the Hive Scepter is better.
Yes, that's why he did it.
Yes. That's his...
Pretty sure no one else will get this.
No, yeah, it's definitely a testing inside joke. Toasters, if you're listening, keep nerfing stuff.
Well, that sort of leads me on a good segue. The hive that was brought up just now. Were you also responsible for that, Unibrow?
No, I wasn't even in testing by then.
The lore of them seems attached.
I mean, I made it based on Hive, so I suppose so.
Okay, that would make more sense.
Oh, we got a B, but now it's a big B. What happened? I was like, well, what if Dr. Terrible? Then the link was made. It's really not like any crazy good. It's just
And then you linked it, and then you got the stuff from the Void.
Oh yeah, that's because Kid Force was like, "You'll never get me to put a B in halls," and then I made him put a B in halls.
And you put a B in the halls. Well, no. Technically speaking, he didn't put a B in the halls.
Put a B in
he
the
put a B
Void.
in the Void.
Oh shit, he wins again.
How about the Month of the Mad God dungeon, Mad God Mayhem? Were you responsible for the boss fight there? Which is also arguably the least favorite boss fight of Mad God Mayhem.
No, that was just the Tyrion Beekeeper, and then Sodax made it really hard. I don't know why. There had to be more stuff on the sides that already was very popular. But yeah, I had no involvement.
Alright, moving on to announcements. We are hosting auditions for a new co-host. To audition, joining our Discord, link in description, is mandatory. There is an announcement in the server that includes a link to the questions that we want to interview you on. Record yourself answering all these questions in an MP3 format and private message it to Sam on the Deca Debrief server. These auditions will be open for 2 weeks, ending 8 a.m. EST on October 1st, 2018. Good luck! There will be a 2-week break afterwards following this season finale. During then, we will take time to carefully review all the applications and additions. Thank you to our patrons. We have Picadell, Iodstar, Refical, Shaxasno, The Mothership, 3Cube, Tomfood, Piggy, Adam Shogun, Surfy, Mgorix, and Klingerus. Thank you all so much for your donations.
I have a couple things that I want to plug in just to get these out there. One message from one of our listeners that I've been kind of failing to include on our episodes for the past few weeks, and I'm deeply sorry to that listener if you happen to be catching this episode. So, a special shout out for the listener ATrapper. This is to ATrapper. Just letting you know that you are probably one of the best people out there. Keep being awesome.
Thank you, anonymous listener. You are the greatest.
Second shout out I have going out to Shaxy. Shaxasno. Okay. And finally, a close friend of mine in real life recently started a podcast of his own. So if you're out there looking for a new podcast to listen to and you're into the wrestling vibe, he covers a podcast with 3 of his friends where they sit down and they talk about different, I guess, wrestling features. I don't watch wrestling myself, so I don't really know too much about it. I think it's a movie where they do fights. They go to conventions, they go to after parties and all these different events, and they talk about their experiences there. And it's really a community-oriented project. A lot of fun over there. The podcast is Shooting Kayfabe, SHOOTING space KAYFABE. And they tell me that if you don't know what kayfabe is, then you should probably be ashamed of yourself.
I already feel ashamed.
Oh.
Well, we already plugged it at the beginning of the episode, but my Ideas Discord. Join if you would like a chance at some great rewards through our new contest. Like Sam said, info can be found in the announcements channel.
Unibrow, anything you want to plug?
My mom? Not really. So.
And Sam? Any special someones out there you want to give a shout out to?
Tell her I love you.
I'm going to up the volume on that.
Yes.
Alrighty. This show has been written, produced, and edited by Sam and Erica Starr, voiced by Sam and Erica Starr. You can email us at decadebrief@gmail.com. If you have any questions or sponsorships that you would like to get in contact with us, then let us know. We want to give credits to DJ Quad for making our intro song, and we want to give cover art props to Generic. Thank you so much for our guests.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I guess for this season, that makes me the Alpha and the Omega, the first and final guest.
Man. Alright, this has been Deca Debrief, and you can consider yourself debriefed.